So last week I made a video on my personal top 5 worst Galar Pokemon, and it was somewhat divisive to say the least, as those videos tend to be. It wasn't anything personal and I wasn't trying to attack anyone. However, with that being said, too much negativity, even if it is all in good fun, is never a good thing, so I've decided to counteract that today by making a list of my top 5 favorite Galar Pokemon. The vast majority of new Pokemon available in Generation 8 are fantastic, and there are a lot that I could consider as amongst my favorite because they're just that good. So making this top 5 list was really hard to put together, but nevertheless I have narrowed it down to 5 Pokemon in particular that I personally like more than any other that were introduced in this generation. And as far as opening remarks go, that's pretty much all I have to say, so without any further ado, let's just go ahead and get right to it. Starting in at number 5, we have Yamper. Now, it's kind of obvious as to why Yamper would be on anyone's top 5 favorite Pokemon list, because it's a Corgi Pokemon that's an electric type. Like, what more do you need? However, when it comes to my experience, Yamper was more of an acquired taste. Back when he was first revealed during the E3 demo in June of 2019, we first saw him with some offhand screenshots because there was no direct feed gameplay of the demo at that time, and it did not come with a matching trailer. At this point, I didn't hate Yamper, but I did think it looked kind of weird, and I wasn't super crazy about it either. However, that all changed when Yamper got its official reveal a short time later, and not only did we get direct feed gameplay of it, but we also got official artwork, and this is when I started to quickly fall in love with it. After getting a much better look at it, I realized that Yamper is adorable, and not only is it having an electric type super cool, but it's just a super adorable, cute loaf of a Pokemon, and I absolutely love it to death. Its evolution Boltund is pretty cool too, but I definitely prefer Yamper, and I personally think it's one of the better electric types that we have seen in a long time. Moving on to number 4, we have Rollycoley. Now, opposite of Yamper, Rollycoley was a Pokemon I instantly fell in love with the moment it was revealed. Everything from its funny and creative name to the way it combines its coal-based appearance with that of a train and a train wheel, because you know, coals and trains kind of go together. I just thought it was a really creative design for your typical rock-based Pokemon that we see in a lot of generations. However, at least in my opinion, when it comes to those rock-based Pokemon, they can be kind of hit and miss with their evolutions, so I was very excited yet a little nervous at the same time to see what Rollycoley evolved into, because I really liked it and I wanted it to evolve into something good. Luckily, it did evolve into something good though, and we got Colossal as its final evolution, along with Carkol its middle evolution, and both of these Pokemon, especially Colossal, are absolutely awesome, especially with their rock-fire type, so it only adds to how much I like Rollycoley. It was actually a pretty tough decision for who I wanted to be at 4 and 5 between Yamper and Rollycoley, but I decided to go with Rollycoley ahead of Yamper just because I like it and its evolutions equally as much, whereas Yamper, I prefer Yamper just a little bit more than its evolution, so for that reason, Rollycoley gets the number 4 spot. Getting into the number 3 position, I'm gonna have to be honest with you guys, we basically have a 3-way tie here from number 3 to number 1 because I love all of these Pokemon so insanely much, but for the sake of ranking them definitively, at number 3 we have Dragopole. Now, pretty much like everyone else, I was very amazed and impressed with Dragopole when I saw him for the first time as a member of Leon's team in the championship battle. I thought he looked pretty cool at face value, but as I continued to learn more about him and his pre-evolutions, this Pokemon just continued to get infinitely cooler as time went on. First off, it's a Ghost Dragon type, which is an amazingly cool typing in and of itself. This Pokemon is based on an extinct species of reptile or amphibian, I'll have the name on screen, but essentially this Pokemon is a fossil Pokemon that went extinct, except it came back as a ghost instead. How cool is that? Thirdly, both of its pre-evolutions are equally as cute and cool, and this makes for an amazing pseudo-legendary family and easily one of the best that we have ever had. Like I said, it pretty much ties with the number 2 and the number 1 spot because of how much I love it. The only thing that held it back from definitively being ranked number 2 or number 1 though was the amount of wow factor that it gave me when I saw it for the first time. The other 2 Pokemon that are higher on this list just did that a little better for me. And speaking of wow factor, the Pokemon we have at the number 2 spot really did that for me from the instant I saw it, and that would be Corsola. I pretty much saw Galarian Corsola and Corsola at the same time thanks to the Stow-N-Side gym in Pokemon Shield version being the Ghost gym, and for as much as I was excited and amazed at Corsola's new design being Ghost type, I was absolutely blown away at the appearance of Corsola. To start, I absolutely love that they gave the Ghost type to Corsola because it's just a creative kind of type to give that Pokemon for its regional variant form. Secondly, even though I don't know if this is the case or not, it's my personal belief that they went with this design as kind of a reference to Corsola's previous relationship of being eaten by Marini in Generation 7. This kind of connects to that in a morbid yet fascinating kind of way that tells a story, even if it wasn't intentional by the developers, and so for that reason, I absolutely love it that much more. And when it comes to Corsola specifically, not only do I love its design and once again its ghost typing and everything, but I love that they gave this attention and love to Corsola by not only giving it that Galarian form, but also giving it an evolution. And the play on Corsola's name by having the curse added in to represent the ghost type, I think is just the cherry on top, and I was simply captivated by this design the moment I saw it. It seems like Corsola and I also seem to be a pretty good match as well, because when I found this Pokemon, I instantly knew I had to have it on my team, because even though Galarian Corsola can only be found in one location in the wild area and only under one weather condition, I was able to find it in about 10 minutes, whereas with multiple people I have talked to, they told me that it took them much longer, even so long as hours sometimes, to find the same Pokemon. So from how much I loved it to how easily I was able to capture it and put it on my team made Corsola easily one of my favorites of this generation, and it was very close to taking the number 1 spot. However, when it comes to that number 1 spot, and like I said, it was very difficult to decide a definitive number 1, but for the purpose of this video, I had to give that number 1 spot to Appleton. Much like Corsola, I had an instant wow factor and was instantly captivated by Appleton when I first saw it in the game. The combination of an apple with a dragon, much less an apple pie essentially, is an amazingly creative combination, and when I found out that this Pokemon as well as its pre-evolution Applin were in fact Grass Dragon, it just made me appreciate them that much more. The thing that really decided it for me though, in terms of Appleton being my favorite Galar Pokemon, comes down to 2 major reasons. Number 1, as I previously stated, I absolutely love and appreciate so much the amount of creativity in this Pokemon's design. But secondly, and Appleton has kind of proved this for me, I am an absolute sucker for the softer kind of friendlier kind of dragon type Pokemon. I kind of knew this about myself before Sword and Shield because I am a huge fan of both Dragonite and Goodra, but when I saw Appleton and I fell in love with it and I realized that this Pokemon kind of fits into that category as well, I realized that these kind of Pokemon are some of my favorite kinds of Pokemon. I don't know what it is, I just like the atypical, friendly, kinder, yet can still beat you up and is really tough type of dragon as opposed to any other type of dragon. So for all of those reasons, the creativity, the personality of this Pokemon, it is definitely my number 1 favorite of Generation 8. And there we have it, everybody. Those were my top 5 favorite Galar Pokemon. Now, even though I did include these on a list definitively, as I said, it was very hard to pick 1 through 5, and even the 5 which I was going to include in this video in the first place. So if I left off someone that you really like, there's a chance I really like them as well, so be sure to let me know about them in the comments below and tell me your favorites, and give this video a like if you enjoyed it. You can also subscribe if you're new for more Pokemon content all the time, and if you'd like to support the channel further, you can check out my Pokemon remixes on Spotify, and you can stay tuned for my Pokemon Cardinal Direct that is going to be happening this Saturday, where I'm going to give you guys some more information on my Pokemon Cardinal project. It's going to be fantastic, and be sure to get caught up with the first trailer if you haven't seen it yet either. With all of that being said though, I will be back on Saturday for that very trailer, so be sure to hit that notification bell so you can be notified when it goes live. And with all that being said, I love you guys very much, and I will smell you guys later.